Are you considering going back into the workforce even though you retired a few years ago? Well, I'm Michaela Dowdy and I'm one of the financial advisors here at Wiser Wealth Management. And we've noticed that since the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, when there was a mass exodus of people leaving the workforce in order to retire early and start enjoying their years, it ended up that now we're seeing in 2022, those people return to the workforce in masses and in waves to come back into the industry. And we thought that this would just be a phenomenon for 2022, but this unretirement coined term has actually stayed into effect in the overall work environment. And we're continuing to see this as retirees retire from their primary careers and then decide after a few years that they actually want more in their lives and to start pursuing different passions or to just get back into the workforce overall. We now see that retirees actually have about 20% of them go back into the workforce either in a part-time or full-time capacity. And in addition to that, there's about 7% that are actively looking for work at any given time. So that's almost a quarter, or really a little over a quarter of retirees that consider to unretire from their retirement. And we see this happening for two different reasons typically. And those reasons are one, the emotional community and just support that you receive in going to the work environment day in and day out. Then you also have that mental stimulation that you're getting where you're still working your brain and your muscles on a daily basis or a few times a week to continue to give that youthful glow to your overall life. You also though see on the second end where people go back to their unretirement phases and go back to work in order to really provide for their post-retirement income streams and to supplement the lifestyle that they want out of retirement. And whether you're on either spectrum of this, it's actually really important to see how this goes into your overall retirement planning. Especially now that life expectancies exceed and get closer to 95, which is what we now do in our age planning, is that we anticipate a client's going to live to age 95, and that's how long their money needs to last, which means that those retirement investment assets need to last so much longer than they were previously in what we anticipated 10, 15, 20 years ago when it was closer to 80 or 85 as a life expectancy. So as we've grown in those areas of having a further life expectancy, that's made it to where that retirement planning and those assets need to last that much longer, which is where going back to the workforce is actually super helpful and makes your retirement plan even stronger. But it is important to also see this in light of your Social Security benefits. So if you're someone that did retire early, but you haven't really started claiming yet, then A-okay, it's great to go back to the workforce. But if you're someone who is waiting until age 70 to get that 8% bump every year, again, great. Haven't claimed yet, you're still getting those benefits and letting those max out to your max capacity, whether that be full retirement age or age 70. But it is important to see this in light of if you started claiming before your full retirement age, what that means and what you can do now that you're trying to go back into the workforce. So if you started claiming before and you've been in the workforce or been retired for less than 12 months, claiming those benefits, then what you can do is you can actually decide to withdraw from receiving your benefits. Essentially what you're going to do is then pay back the benefits you've received so far, and then Social Security is going to act like you never received it ever. And it's going to continue to grow your benefit at that normal rate that it would have if you had never even tried to file to begin with. So essentially it's a net zero. You just go back to how you were living, claiming your income that you have earned and not claiming that Social Security. Now the difference is if you have reached your full retirement age and you're in between that and age 70, you can then choose to suspend your payments instead. And so that'll just kind of put them on pause for now until you reach age 70, and then you can ramp those back up. Now, the bigger difference where this gets a little more complicated is if you're currently receiving benefits and it's before full retirement age, before full retirement age, but you're receiving your benefits and you're working. So that's where you kind of have to do this balance because there is a limited income amount and a stipulation that you have to follow under before you start having to kind of incur a penalty of sorts. So if you exceed an earned income in 2025 of $23,400, then that's where your Social Security is going to start being reduced by $1 for every $2 you make, in addition to that $23,400. So that's something to be mindful of in your retirement planning. And this is where Wiser can come in and help you fully understand what your retirement planning looks like and what that picture looks like best for you. So we want to come alongside you and build a retirement plan for you and see if it's possible for you to go into retirement fully or step into an unretirement workforce balance.